Hi, this is Lynette with Lemon Zest Farms, and today I'm going to talk about a project I started in my backyard. But first I had to solve a few problems. So first I have a flood irrigated yard, and I want to use that water efficiently, but I do not want it standing on the vegetables too long because that tends to rot them. I've got very hungry free-range chickens that were always in my garden, and the garden I had before was kind of small and not very attractive. After playing with some ideas, we decided to go with a wood raised bed planter, 4 foot by 32 feet, with a wire structure covered with a deer netting, allowing us to lift the structure out of the way when we wanted to get into the garden. To best utilize the irrigation water, we decided to leave a small gap along the frame on all sides of the raised bed garden and to add a leach line down the middle. This would allow a nice slow soak for the irrigation water. And next we determined placement of our garden by adding stakes to each corner, measuring, and running a string line all the way around. This will give us a better visual idea of what the garden will look like once it's installed. We took 2 10 by 12s and 2 halves of a 10 by 8 to make the 2 end pieces, and then took 2 10 by 8s for the middle. Screwed the corners together, making sure to keep it plumb and straight. Paint and stain your wood frame and then put it into place. Cut and hammer some posts and put them in the corners and in the middle. Since we wanted to utilize irrigation, we lifted the frame about an inch above ground level, and using a level we screwed it into the posts. In addition, we decided to add a 2-hole triple wall pipe down the middle. We connected 90-degree bends just past the ends of the garden. This will give us additional water access during irrigation. We then took a weed cloth and covered the holes to the pipe to keep debris from falling in, and then lined the sides, stapling it securely, and put a full cover on the bottom. Now let's fill it up with some soil. Here's a rough breakdown of the soil composition we used in this garden. Our soil here in the Southwest is pretty clay-like, so we use a lot of compost. The compost needed to be broke down a little bit more, so I used a sifter and kind of sifted it through, mixing other elements into it. This made it nice and light and fluffy. We built our anti-chicken covers out of 3.5 by 7 foot remesh sheets that you can get at any hardware store. Then we stretched deer netting across and bowed the sheets and attached them to the wood frames that fit on top of the edging of our garden. And now we're ready to put some plants in.
Well, I'm coming from Connecticut on 995, heading toward the sunset on the East River Drive, to the pretty little city on the Delaware. The Philadelphia chickens are sure to be there. All the Philadelphia chickens will be dancing tonight. Thousands of chickens in the pale moonlight. They can't sit still when the trumpets play. Strike up the band and get out of the way. Here come those Philadelphia chickens. Swing, slide, and roll. Philadelphia chickens, up, over, and stroll. If you want to start moving like anything, find a Philadelphia chicken to teach you to swing. If you haven't ever seen it, you can't understand the undulating chickens in a big swing band. They're tight on the turns, loosen the knees. Whatever they do it with ease. Young Philadelphia chickens will be dancing tonight. Thousands of chickens in the pale moonlight.